Hello, how are you today? Do you want to dive into a book that might just surprise you, whether it becomes your next favorite or one you might skip? Let's find out what readers are saying about it.
Jenny reads a lot who has 69 likes says. 4.75 TikTok IG. This series is everything. It's hilarious. Laugh out loud funny. It's crazy at times. Off the wall outrageous. Raw and real. Emotional. Silly and just plain perfect. If you've not read Little Thieves yet, I need you to stop slacking and go have some fun, aka read it. It is hands down the funniest book I've ever read with the most lovable morally grey FMC ever. Imho. Then you need to move on to Painted Devils, where our lovable and morally grey FMC accidentally starts a cult. Okay. All caught up now that you've thoroughly immersed yourself in this world and you're clearly in love with Vanja and Emmerich, it's time to move on. The final book, Holy Terrors, is everything you've ever wanted in a series finale. The absolute epic growth that we see in both Vanja and Emmerich will have you questioning if this is a ya book. And on that note, this is actually the perfect ya series. It starts off silly and fun with a small lesson about learning to care for others more than yourself. And then Vanja does what every young adult should do. She makes a mistake, albeit a big one. And from it she grows so much. She learns it's important to let go of things no matter how much you love them. And to top it all off, we get a series finale that feels grown up enough that if ages were adjusted, it could certainly be a book for middle-aged adults. But as it stands, it's a phenomenal journey of self-discovery and learning how to accept and be loved as you are. I am not crying writing this review, I swear. Look, stop reading this review and go read the book. Nothing I have to say is as important and amazing as this book is. Audio narration 55. The narrator really brings this story to life and I thoroughly enjoyed my reread via audio. This is one I will likely find myself re-listening to often, but if you do want to read an eloquent and well-written review to which I agree with every point, this one is my fav. Stress Readers Review. They nailed it and I agree with everything they said. Thank you NetGalley and Macmillan Children's Macmillan Audio for sending this book EARCALC for review consideration. All opinions are my own. Look, Margaret, who has 15 likes, says. The dialogue between Vanja Emmerich. The rest of the plot. First things first. Tie for this arc. NetGalley Macmillan Children's Publishing Group. Quick background: I loved book 1 but book 2 put me in a book slump. So I was nervous about book 3. But I needed to know what shenanigans Vanja was getting herself into now. And though 1, I genuinely missed the audio narration 2. I was overwhelmed with keeping track of the level of side characters. 3. Pacing and plot were frustrating. We, the readers, needed that ending. Owen just makes you really work for it. I am not sure how to rate this. TBH. So I'll keep it in the middle to play it safe. I desperately needed a list of characters to reference. I can't believe Owen did us dirty at 75. We were so close, which reminds me, love the illustrations for this series. Give them a raise. Jordan, who has 13 likes, says. I am happy to report that Margaret Owen sticks the landing. Holy Terrors is the best book in the trilogy. Your favorite characters are back and bring friends. There is angst, longing, reconciliation, personal and professional growth. Childhood traumas are explored, evaluated, absolved. The plot itself has a lot of political elements and gets very convoluted as time goes on. Pretty par for the course at this point, but everything else made up for it. It's a great way to finish out what has been a wild, delightful ride in a series with a lot of heart and a healthy dose of humor. I received a free copy of this book from the publisher. All thoughts expressed are my own. Veka Kurjenmieka, who has 6 likes, says. I really want to give this 4 stars. Because the first 400 pages or so were excellent. And so was the ending. But unfortunately about 100 pages before the last couple of chapters were totally bonkers. That being said, I will read anything Margaret Owen writes. And I still love Vanja and Emmerich. Stress reader who has 28 likes says. Potential spoilers for Little Thieves and Painted Devils. Holy Terrors is the culmination of chaos. Filled heists, accidental cult initiations, and the gem of curses with enemies to lovers, gods, a humorously haunted doll, and my favorite found family to date that will have readers turning pages and going through the full gamut of emotions. All of that thrice over. Going into Holy Terrors, I was scared it wouldn't live up to what I've built it up to be and of their story coming to a close. I am delighted to say it was all that I had built it up to be. And more. I cried at least twice, even the acknowledgement made me cry, making me think Margaret Owen is the Holy Terror. I chuckled so many times. This book, this series, is everything. If you ever read a book because of my reviews, let it be this one. It will break you and heal you in the best of ways. I grew up somewhat similarly to Vanja. Unwanted and abused by her bio parents. Abandoned by her bio mom. Being basically adopted as the goddaughter of the gods' death and fortune. I was adopted as a teen. But not by gods. Growing up doing whatever it takes just to survive another day. Because of that, I realize that I connect with this series. These characters. In a way that not everyone may. If you're someone who's had a vastly different life experience, this book may not hit you on a deeply visceral level like it did me. And others like me. If you're a character-focused reader, you would love this. If you're a plot-focused reader, you would love this. I feel like the mix of fantasy to romance is the perfect middle ground, slightly leaning more on the fantasy side, which is my preference. After a lifetime of scheming and running, is Vanja finally ready and in a place where she can feel safe to stop scheming and running? Well, not stop scheming, because then she wouldn't be the Vanja we know and love. I found the plot to be intriguing and I was captivated immediately. I both love and appreciate that this is a book that you can choose to read purely for entertainment purposes, or you can think more deeply about the big topics within the pages. Owen walks the line of bringing light to those topics without the reader feeling like they're the main or only point to the book. The series as a whole is like that. Owen is a master at meticulously weaving an intricate plot, while keeping it from feeling overwhelming, contrived, or so intricate that it hurts your brain. Beautifully executed tie-in callbacks, twists and turns, as well as a shocking reveal. Holy Terrors invites readers to consider themes such as what it is to be human. Is vigilante justice truly justice? And other big topics. You don't have to accept the invitation to enjoy the book, but you can choose whether to take Holy Terrors at face value, or to think more deeply on the themes within. Exquisitely written with gorgeous turns of phrases and rich descriptions, plus bits of snarky humor. It reads smoothly and easily, while being a delight to read. Owen enriches the world she built in the previous two books, as well as adds new world building to create a fully immersive fantasy world. Additional lore and expansions on what's already been built leave the reader encorseled. The magic system is well developed and explained in previous books, with some expansion in Holy Terrors. Great pacing with action, tension, and beautiful character work pushing the plot along. A diverse, queer normative cast that are so endearing you can't help but love, or so cruel and evil you can't help but love to hate. The characters are full of personality with interesting backstories. Excellent character work in this series. This romance is one of my all-time favorites. It started as true enemies to lovers, and has had many ups and downs since. Their bickering is so much fun to read. I love that Owen had them as actual enemies, and showed us how they went from that to so much more. And all the bumps along the way. The angst is so well done. He's a rigid type A. The youngest prefect police investigator in history. On the case to track down and bring her as the Pfennigeist to justice. If you like Six of Crows Lee Bardugo. Sorcery of Thorns Margaret Rogerson. An Enchantment of Ravens Margaret Rogerson. Merciful Crow Duology Margaret Owen. A Fragile Enchantment Alison Saft. A Far Wilder Magic Alison Saft. Down Comes the Night Alison Saft. Or the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies series Heather Fawcett. I think you would love this series. Thank you to What Eats Owls Macmillan Children's and NetGalley for the opportunity to read this EARC. All opinions expressed are my own. I laughed. I cried. I loved this book so much. Review to come once my heart and brain have recovered.